Richard. Richard, it's a pleasure to have you in front of me.
Pleasure to be here.
Okay. What is the difference between mixed, a single malt, and mixed, blended?
This is a very good question. First of all, you've got a single malt coming from one distillery only, like a Chateau bottled wine. You then have a blended malt, as the name used to be a vatted malt, but nobody understood it. Blended malt is much better. It's an assemblage of many different malts. That is normally all made by the pot still method of distillation. Then you have grain whiskey produced by the patent still, aged in the same way as single malts. So you add that to the single malt or the blended malt, and that creates a blended whiskey. People say to me, blended whiskey, what does it do? It still has 92% of the whiskey market. The other 8% is for single malt. So you have to look at it in all different fronts. So when I look at them, I look them at people. They're going to be brought together to change and to bring beauty to the whiskey, to give elegance, refinement. So that's what I'm looking at every single malt, because they will all bring something when you blend them together. Okay. But when you take two people, they become one person, like a husband and wife. They communicate, they consummate their marriage, they come together in one loving union. That's why some come together, some don't, some get divorced. So my job as a master blender is to select these whiskies that will harmonize with each other.
Okay. And when you create a new blend, by what do you begin?
When I create a new blend, whether it be a single malt or a blended whiskey, I'm looking for innovation. I'm looking for freshness, elegance, refinement that will stimulate the taste buds of my consumer. That people will look at it and say, this is a different style. This is something that I want to taste, something I want to hold long in the mouth. So I need to look at the various ages. I need to look at the finishes. Will I finish it in port, sherry, Cabernet Sauvignon, Marsala? I think about these things all the time because I must put my whiskies out to the audience that will be stimulated, will see something different.
You always create a blended when you sing to the people who drink the whiskey?
Yes, I'm going to think about the same people. When I think of France, I think of Champagne, I think of Cabernet Sauvignon, I think of elegance, I think of people are very chic in Paris. They're looking for elegance, finesse. So I want to create that with my whiskies. But sometimes to get that, I need to go beyond 20, maybe even 30 years so that I can bring that elegance out. It costs more money, but it's worth it.
Okay. Have you a preference for sherry cask or for bourbon?
I love them both, but I have to be quite honest with you. I love sherry. The biggest disappointment to me is actually many people do not know what sherry is.
Yes.
When I go to America, I say, these are my Dalmores matured in sherry wood. Sherry. And people say to me, Richard, why are you spelling it? Because many people think I said cherry, Cherry.
Yes, yes.
They're not made of cherries, they're made of sherries. But in Spain, in Jerez de la Frontera, we have Fino Sherry, dry, Oloroso, sweet, and everything. But for me, the Matusalem Oloroso, 30 years old minimum. This is an aged sherry, 30 to 45 years old. The Consuegra Regador, like Appellation Contrôlée here in France, will not pass these wines unless they attain a quality. Same with the sherries. So this 30 years old will be in the pores of the wood and be drawn into the whiskey and make it more beautiful.
Okay. How do you begin your blend when you have to?
Very good question, but the first thing you must do, no matter how big the blend or the different expression you want to create, you must have the stock. You must have the stock for today, for tomorrow, and the years ahead. If you have a brand that you want to build, you must have the stock to satisfy the demand out there. Quite often marketing will come to me and I create a blend and it's a success and they say, you've got to give me more. I say, you cannot have more, you have to wait. So it's very important you have the style, the stock, then you create the style.
Sometimes you create limited edition.
Correct, absolutely. You create a limited edition, maybe 100 bottles, maybe 200 bottles. You say we're only going to create that for this year. you stick with that. Maybe the next year you create a little bit more.
Okay.
But you must say to the people in the shops, here is a bottle of whiskey that's coming into the market. It's new, do you want to buy it? Well, yes, maybe no. Well, if you do buy it today, you can have it. But tomorrow, it might be gone. So quite often today, when we create different whiskies, even before it's almost on the shelf, people are looking for it.